Anyway, hope you're having a good evening. Really impromptu, as I said. I was literally coming home from something and I thought, let's go live. There's nobody else in the house. I need to make some mashed potato. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got Marco's little mashed potato video up there, which I might play bits of as I go through. And yeah, I've been watching so much Marco Pierre White this week. So much. It's just in my head. I've been re-watching those series of Hell's Kitchen that he did on ITV, 2007, 2008. I don't think I caught them properly at the time. Don't know why. Just never occurred to me to watch it. So, yeah. Did you guys watch Hell's Kitchen? The ITV one? 2007, 2008? Jim Davidson, Barry McGuigan, and then latterly Adrian Edmondson. Who else did we have? Quite a lot of models on there. Quite a lot of Emmerdale actresses. Yeah. So I'm in the mood to make his mash because earlier today I was making his shepherd's pie, which I'll go and grab in a second. I've done that bit. But I need to make the mash topping. That's been set in the fridge. But let's get this on. So I'm just going to obviously peel some Maris Piper potatoes. Just get on that. Then we can have a bit of a chat. Fetching some more potatoes. Oh, so I'm just going to... I'll switch angles. In a second. You've gone to sleep, that's always good. Wake up. Give that a second to wake up. We might not have that. Is he not in the mood? We'll leave that then. So let's get through the comments. A couple of you have rattled in. Made fresh pesto with lemon fried edamame beans for dinner. So just the pesto and edamame? It sounds great. I've never ever cooked with edamame. I only, like everybody else, I only ever have them when I go to Wagamama with plenty of salt. Yeah, it's a little treat. Good to see Paul Young was very good. He was very good, wasn't he? He was a charming little chap. The kind of guy you think, I can get along with him. He's no fuss, no stress. He's all good. I don't think much of one of Marco Sue's. He was a bit of a... not a nice guy. You've not come back either. So, Jay Stones, you asked this question. Have I read Marco's autobiography, Devil in the Kitchen? And at the time, I hadn't. I bought a copy, and I haven't read it, shamefully. I do want to. I've got a couple of other books on the go that I must get through. One that's vaguely food-related. You know, the actor Nick Frost, Simon Pegg's mate, does Shaun of the Dead, Spaced, loads and loads of films and TV. He's really into his food, and he's written a sort of autobiography called A Slice of Fried Gold. And it's sort of 50% a food book and 50% sort of stories of his life, I guess. It's quite charming. It's a good read. Anyway, so what am I doing? I'm just dicing up some potato to make some mash. I mean, I'm just going to boil this. Actually, Marco's recipe that's up there, wherever that is, calls for a baked potato mash, but I don't have time for that. But however, in homage to the man himself, I've got myself a Knorr stock pot. I could not resist, so I'm going to put that in the water. I'm denying you watching mash being cooked action tonight. Sorry about that. But it's potatoes boiling in a pan, you know? There's not a lot to see. Normal pesto, lemon juice and zest, olive oil, parmesan to finish. Sounds great. It's quite light as a dinner. Or was it more a snack? Was it a great big mountain of edamame beans? Interesting. Really interesting read. He has a bit in there about a young Gordon Ramsay. He can't avoid him and Gordon. They're like a divorced husband and wife. The way they talk about each other. Ah, oh, sensational seller. Thank you for the super thanks. $1.99. Thank you so much. Perfection is lots of little things done well. I cannot tell you how many times that runs through my head. Perfection is lots of little things done well. I need to work on that impression. Thank you again so much. That's great. For donating to a video where I make mashed potato. That's too kind of you. I also need a bigger chopping board, but it's in the wash and I couldn't be bothered to get it out. But we only need it for a minute. Marco's is done with cream and egg yolks and butter, of course. But we'll come on to those bits once the potatoes are on to boil. Just want to have a look at something here. Check if something... okay. Is he off? He's off.
What I would say was the best
cream potato. Oh, I've stopped him. I'll bring him back in a sec, I promise. There he goes. Pause him. Yeah, there we go. Right, yes. I've run out of space because I'm not prepared for this recipe at all. This is very professional. Let's chuck that in there for a minute. Let's get them out of the way. Marco would not approve. Not read Marco's, but have read Floyd's. Yes. So Sensational Seller, I don't know if you've seen it, but I did a biography on Keith Floyd maybe 18 months ago, last summer, summer 23, and that's up on the channel. Had read, I think he's got 3 autobiographies that I read all of them. He doesn't have enough material for 3 autobiographies, I should add. Essentially, he has an idea, opens a restaurant, loses a load of money, rinse and repeat, and that's what he does over and over again. Let's do another little bit of jiggery pokery here. Let's, yeah, can't do that. I thought I was going to give out some gift memberships. Apparently not. I thought you could do that. Yes, J Stones, I promise I will read Marco's book before Christmas. That's the best I can do you. I do really want to give that a try. The Apprentice by Jacques Pepin. Jacques Pepin, not someone I know a great deal about. He's impossible to avoid on YouTube, particularly when you're on YouTube yourself and his videos routinely get like 2 million views and he's making mashed potato. You just think, damn, the guy's got charisma, he's got skills. Yeah, but no, I've never read that one. Right, my stock pot is bobbling away. Potatoes in. Right, now we can have a look around. Calm down and get back to work. I think a lot of chefs don't take it upon themselves to write a book that's not really congruous with the life, is it? But there you go. Pepin is an incredible story. I don't really know. What's the highlights? What do I need to know? J Stones, what do I need to know about Jacques Pepin? As I said, I don't really know him. I just know of him. I've never watched any of his stuff. Let's get a couple of eggs. If you're not aware, that little thing in there called Nightbot is just an automated messenger service that does a bit of admin for me. Saves me having to type, particularly in cooking when you've got messy hands quite a lot of the time. Right, let's separate an egg. Just want the egg yolk, so I should have done that the other way around. Again, this is the disadvantage of doing stuff on a live stream. You just mess stuff up. But thank you for you guys coming by to say hello. Do appreciate it. It's great to see you. And thank you again for the donation. Really, really kind. Excellent. Right, let's watch a little bit of Marco if we can. I have to fiddle about a bit and we'll see what happens. Everything might break. But it's already broken once tonight, so can't go much worse.
What I would say was the best cream potato is a potato with lots of butter, no cream, milk. But what we're doing now is we're making the potato for the cottage pie. And so we're going to have the potatoes, the egg yolks, the butter, and a tiny bit of milk. Why the egg yolk?
A tiny bit of milk, says Ben Smulders. Excellent to see you. I am using the microphone we discussed the other day, so it's up to you. And I obviously don't do any processing here, so you tell me what the sound's like. Don't ask the other guys in chat, because they'll tell you that I had no sound when we started, because I was fiddling about. So I've got a cottage pie. Here, I'm just going to flick my camera mount so you can see it. Let's just... And that's what we're putting the mash on. We'll come back to that in a minute. I'm going to put the oven on. Give me a sec. Otherwise I will come to cook later and that won't be in. No sound in the alternative angle camera. Ah, yes. I will just explain that again. Thank you, Sensational Seller. I forgot about that. Again, messing about rather than sorting out the live stream properly. Yeah, so that was beef and lamb mince sweated down with onion and garlic tomato puree, bay leaf, and of course a Knorr beef stock pot. And then some diced carrot and sweet potato. Just microwave for 5 minutes. That's on top. That's it. So I've just put that to one side. I'll come back to it. And I'll remember not to bother using that camera for the rest of our conversation. So, thanks for putting up with the terrible technical issues tonight. Pepin was de Gaulle's chef, I didn't know that, and tells of his life throughout World War II, migrating to USA, being offered the job as Kennedy's chef, etc. Goes on to be the head chef and researcher for the Howard Johnsons. No, this is news to me. I had no idea. No idea. Ben Smulders, who's in the chat, he's quite the food historian, so I bet he already knew that. Ben, have you got any Jacques Pepin facts? I'm putting you right on the spotlight there. Anyways, let's do a bit more, Marcos.
To help it brown when it goes in the oven. As simple as that. But
Simple as
if you're just going to serve it with a classic beef bourguignon, with any braised dish, with any fish dish, just the butter and the milk. That's it. As simple as that. These potatoes have been baked. They've not seen water. The reason why we bake them, so no water gets into them. How many times have you had cream potatoes which are all wet? Because the potatoes have been boiled and not drained or dried properly. These were baked, wrapped in tin foil and baked on salt. And if you want to make the perfect mash, after you've done this, then what you should do is then pass them through a drum sieve of very fine tammy, which makes them even finer. But for a dish like cottage pie, shepherd's pie, it's not necessary.
I'm not doing that.
And one of my favourite ways
I'm going to use a ricer
of eating potatoes is baking them, scooping them out, crushing them with a fork, a little bit of seasoning, olive oil, some fresh parsley, and serve it with grilled fish, or a bit of olive oil in there instead of butter. Delicious.
I'm sure it's your choice.
I started with a kilo of baked potatoes. So that would give me a prox weight, net weight, without the skins of about 700 grams. So now what I'm going to add to this is a little milk. We just scald it first. Otherwise you're adding cold milk to hot potatoes. And a little butter. If you were going to make the cream potatoes for fish or for meat, and not for the shepherd's pie, you put more butter inside.
Okay, let's have a look at that then. I'm just going to jump around the comments a minute. Not that much, Ben. I'm an early modern historian, so 20th century history is not something I have at the ready. Might look into it though. Ben makes great videos. He's hiding his light under a bushel there. You also can't tell from that account, because that's not the account he posts from, but I'm very welcome to put your channel in the chat, Ben. And Sensational Seller, has anyone watched James Martin's French tour? Try Floyd's old 2CV around the regions. Any good? I go hot and cold with James Martin. I quite I liked him a bit in the Saturday Kitchen days, but I always got the... how can I put this? It gave off a vibe I just didn't like. So I don't go out my way to watch his programmes. There's no doubt in his talents. I used to really like him on Ready Steady Cook, showing my age there. But yeah, we'll see. Driving around Floyd's 2CV. He was a huge fan of Floyd. He was the first one, I think, started to lead all the tributes when Keith Floyd died. My favourite Keith Floyd moment is, and I made a short of it, which, not my footage, it's the BBC's, but hey, come at me, bro, is when he tries to make piperade in a French lady's kitchen, and she just tears him a new one. Oh, such good footage, so good, very funny, I love it. What the best thing though is he's just self-effacing about it. He's like, yeah, she's right, it's crap. And she doesn't appear to speak English. Maybe she does, but she just doesn't want to. So maybe she understands him, but he has a gay old time anyway. So I've just added a tiny bit of milk. I'm not going to activate the other camera because the sound won't work. I've forgotten how I get around that, but this is what happens when you just decide to stream on a whim. Madame Mimi. You know the one. You know the one. Yes. Excellent little video. I'm going to get a couple of tools out. It's going to be a bit of banging and crashing, but given all the audio problems we've had so far, you won't mind. Spatula. Let's get my ricer. Ay, 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 ay. It's down here somewhere. Don't use this that often, my ricer. Excellent gadget, of course. I suppose I should get a moolie like Marco, shouldn't I? Do it properly. Can't be bothered. Let's get a bowl we're going to mash it into. Excellent. I'm going to tidy up a little bit. Glamorous part of cooking. Put the spare potatoes away. Throw the Knorr stock pot wrapper in the bin. All that jazz. Bang. It's bugging me now why that camera doesn't take, why the audio wasn't working. Should have worked. I can't think why it wasn't working actually. I set it up the same way I usually do. I wonder if it's the USB-C cable. I mean, if I wasn't so scared of losing my 4 current viewers, then I'd go and try it. But there's so few as it is, I don't want to scare anyone else off. Alright, let's watch a little bit more Marco.
And no egg yolks. But you can see how smooth it is. Some people put cream in their cream potatoes. To be quite honest, I don't like it. I never do it. Butter and scalded milk. Straightforward. Okay, add a little milk. You see, just
he's lying about
slowly.
the cream, by the way.
For something like a cottage pie, something like a shepherd's pie, it's about texture. You don't
he's
want
completely
it too wet.
lying about the cream. He totally does pommes puree, which is another recipe I'm going to do at some point, hopefully before the end of November. If you've been on the community channel, you might know what recipe that is. And that's served with pommes puree, and essentially it's like equal quantities potato and cream, with butter, of course. And then, what do you do with it? You put it in a food processor, which is insanity. I've never heard of mash being done in a food processor. In fact, they tell you not to because it breaks, and so that'll be a barrel of laughs. So I'll try that one. Anyway, last bit. It's not a very long video, this. This is one of his Knorr series.
The last thing you want is when you put it on top of your pie, it dropping off. And then I'd say 3 egg yolks.
No, I'll do 3 egg yolks. Not wasting 3 eggs for that. It's one of the few videos where he doesn't say it's your choice.
And there's the perfect mash for a cottage pie, a shepherd's pie, a fish pie. It's not too wet and it's not too heavy. It's got texture and it's got great flavour because those potatoes are baked.
Okay. Yes, so potatoes are going to be nearly done. So we've already heard that Sensational Seller had pesto edamame, living the dream. These are nearly done. A couple of minutes more. What's everyone else having for dinner? What's on the menu on this quite cool and damp Thursday evening where I am in the south east of England? Got that, got that, got that. Let's get something civvy on the go. We can drain off those potatoes in a minute. Leftover pasta. Nothing wrong with that, Ben. I assume it's not just cold cooked pasta you're just woofing down with your bare hands. I assume you're showing it a little bit more love than that. Working the stove like a piano, like the great master says. Yeah, so I've got boiling fresh pasta with leftover stew as a sauce. So, leftover pasta I would consider pasta you cooked yesterday, so that's a different take. Leftover stew as a sauce. That is, you can tell it's November, right? And you're having stew and pasta. Very good. Yes, so let's have another look at this button over here. I should be able to give out gift subs. Why can't I give out gift subs? Don't know. I've got an idea. Let's try this. Probably start giving me terrible echo or something like that, but we'll figure it out, I'm sure. Let's mute that one. Let's do that, let's do that. Let's close that. Ah, there we go. There we go, that's what I wanted to do. YouTube for streaming is so weird. It's so weird. Yeah, YouTube for streaming is just like really half-assed. They just want to capitalise on Twitch's stuff, but not very well. Yep, so there's a few gift subs given out to those guys there. Enjoy. And J Stones, right now, oven seasoning. You are a pro, J Stones. Your new Debaya Mineral B Pro Omelette Pan. I'm not familiar with the brand Debaya, but I'm assuming the way that you referenced it, it must be a really good brand. I'm not very good with some of those premier brands. I don't really know them all. Okay. I can't remember how long they've had, 10, 12 minutes maybe? It's soft enough for mash. Let's drain them off. And as the great man Marco says, just scald the milk. I'm going to forget about that and probably burn it to death, so you guys can enjoy watching that burn. It's a carbon steel pan. Just drain those off. Pop them back. Just letting them drain off, steam off. Getting loads of excess water off. I know you can't see it, but it's just potatoes in a sink, you can believe me. I was shopping for pans last night. I shouldn't say window shopping for pans last night. I was looking at Nisbets, you know, the catering supply guys. I was looking at a cast iron steel pan from there. Very reasonable, because they have their own brands. So I think I might pick up one of those. I don't own a true cast iron pan. I have various things, but not a true cast iron pan. Check if you can see that. Can I see it on a lag? So yeah, just a pan of cubes of potato. That's the rock and roll stuff we have on this stream, guys. Oh yes, all your favourites. Right, let's get ricing. A food mill is another thing that I'd like to own so I can use it twice a year. Because I would only use it twice a year. Lovely potato spaghetti. Lodge is the biggest. Yeah, I know Lodge. They're yeah, Lodge I've heard of. I can only through sort of, I don't know. I've just heard of them. Ben, my wife won't let me eat in this bit's not with my wallet. Yes. Although I will say it's very reasonable. I don't do their marketing, but I would call them the IKEA of catering supplies, of buying stuff for your kitchen. You know, there's nothing is particularly glamorous or sexy, but they'll have one of everything and it'll be a good price. Bosh. But Dubai, it's not one I know. I will Google them up, as my dad says, later on. The Dubai brand. Bosh. So I've got multiple things I'm doing for you then. Jay Stones, I said I'm going to read the book and I'm going to read up on Dubai. Probably not pronouncing that right. Dubai cookware. Get a nice big mound of potato stodge. Oh, it fell in. Very good. Nearly there. The glamour is nearly over. There are a bunch of artisan cast iron companies. Yeah, I mean, the closest I have is I've got a couple of Le Creuset pieces. One that the shepherd's cottage pie was cooked in. And I love those Le Creusets. I've had them a long time. They were gifts. I don't think I've bought a single Le Creuset thing. I think they've always been bought for me, which is very lucky, obviously. But I make them last, you know. Okay, here we go. Get out the last bits. Pop that in there. Get him out the way. How little of that have you been able to see? Let's find out. I can't really do anything. Oh yeah, well there you go, nice. Sexy bowl of mash. Right, again I would switch over camera, but I don't want you guys to miss all the heavenly glory with the sound. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's do a deal. I'll switch it over while I'm pouring the milk in, and then, but there'll be no sound, but then I'll come back. I'll leave only a few seconds. So I'll heat the milk. There you go. Just worked it through with a spatula. Lovely Creuset and Staub. Can't make entire non-enamel cast in the old way, smoother and lighter. Particular brands you're talking about there? I don't know any. I mean, I often advocate for people that can't afford Le Creuset, and I assume by the way you're talking, Jay Stones, you're based in America, but there's, I always say people to go to the high-end supermarkets in the UK, starting from Sainsbury's and working your way up, Sainsbury's, Waitrose, M&S, and they do exceptional, I think, cast iron enamel knockoffs that are Le Creuset adjacent. The Marco butter, of course. Wouldn't be a Marco recipe without some butter. I'll just show you that going in. Here we are. Just beating that through. Then I'll add my egg. So if you didn't catch Marco's bit of the video, the only reason he adds an egg to this one is to help it brown. Again, a reminder that I've got it in a shepherd's slash cottage pie. And I do mean slash because it's got both beef and lamb in it. What was I saying? The egg helps it brown. It just gives it that protein that helps it brown on the surface, much the way you would egg wash pastry before going in. And here in the US, Smithy is really nice. Field, Finex, these are all unknown names to me, I'm afraid. But I do like having something to Google. Oh, that's coming out lovely. It's quite fluffy, but holds its shape. You know, I wouldn't have it with sausages, or if you think we say this, bangers and mash. I would. But it's going to sit nice on top of the pie for baking. Enjoy yours too, Ben. Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. I'll speak to you soon. Just going to beat in that egg now. And I'll give it a taste. Nice workout on the arms. Nice texture, but doesn't need seasoning. It's had no seasoning other than the Knorr stock pot. As it's Marco, I will use white pepper. Quite a bit. Potato with all that butter and cream, milk, sorry, it can really take it. It can really take the seasoning. And you're a kitchen equipment nerd, well, a man after my own heart. It's one of the reasons I have the kitchen the way I do, is so I can fit stuff, you know. I'm sure you've seen my kitchen gadget reviews. I love a good kitchen toy. There's some conventional wisdom that says, you know, oh, don't buy unitaskers, right? Don't get things that only do one job. Well, you know what? I don't use that potato rice for anything other than making super smooth mash, so I don't care. I own apple corer. I don't do anything than core apples with it, and it just does the job. The same with, what was I just thinking of? Oh, a pineapple corer with a plunge on it. It's a great little gadget, one of my favourite things. All I can do with it is prep pineapple, but I would rather do that than actually work with, you know, cut round a pineapple, skin it and all that stuff. Does it need a touch more? It's really, really, really close. Tiny, tiny bit more salt. And a tiny bit more pepper. Just work that through, and then I shall coat the mince. Right, let's move a bit of crud out of the way. Oh, it'd be so great to have a producer working for me who can like take stuff away and change the camera angle. But when you're a one-man band like I am, you've got to do everything yourself, including wiping the counter, changing camera angles, fetching stuff. Ho ho ho, all good fun. Excellent. Right, I'm just checking my camera angles, because making sure you can see that okay. Good. Swap sides. No, because I'm right-handed. We'll start walloping that on now. Just going to dollop that on, and then I will smooth it into place. Whoop on Marco style. Very easy to find I did mean to put links in, but as I said, I did this live stream on the hoof very, very last minute, which is why it's beset with technical issues. But there are easily found links to both his recipes for this mash and the cottage/shepherd's pie that are Knorr recipes. David, Pritchard and Clive, stay on the pot. You're really on brand this evening, sensational seller. On me now, Clive, if you don't mind. All I need is a glass of wine. I'm not having a glass of wine. I need to go out and drive later, so I'm not doing that. Because I don't have any wine in the house, I don't think. All right then, pass it through. I'm just going to get some water for this spatula. Why am I doing that? Well, it just helps it slick over the mash, so it can skim over it nicely. And yeah, that's going to be about 50% potato to filling, which is how I like it. I'm not called Big Spud for no reason, you know. Should have been a plasterer, I think. I'm putting excess mash in the bowl and I'll come back to it later. It's all about the food, Clive. Just want to make a really lovely seal all around the edge. Oh, we've talked about all sorts tonight, haven't we? Keith Floyd, Marco, Jacques Pepin. Again, Joe Stones, thank you for all those things about Jacques Pepin. He's not really a personality in the UK. He's like Wolfgang Puck or who's the other one who comes up all the time? Like, they're chefs that are Wiley Dufresne, incredibly famous in the US. They don't really have a presence in the UK. Only food idiots like me have come across them before through endless watching of food programs and documentaries. Right, got a lovely flat top on that. Let's just pop that on there. Move that out of the way, 'cause I'm a professional. I'm going to quickly show you that. And yeah, so lovely, smooth. And now I think I'm going to Marco it with some waves. So I'm going to concentrate when I do that. Food idiot, yes. It's better than foodie. I hate the term foodie. It gives me the ick. I'm going to switch to the other camera to show you what I'm doing. I'm also not going to talk while I'm doing it because you'll see why. I'll show you. Yeah, I just wanted to concentrate while I was doing that. It's not amazing, but it'll do. Right, I'm going to do one more job to this, I think. Just looking around for some spare bread. A little nugget of bread. Yeah, I hate it when people say to me, "Oh, Gary, you're a foodie, aren't you?" And I go, "Bleh." I just can't stand it. Can't stand it. Cannot stand it. It's a word I hate. You know another word I hate? Veggies. I just like, say vegetables. I don't understand why people say veggies. It's like, veg I'm okay with. I don't know why. Veggies winds me up. Shouldn't do, really. We all have those things that bug us, don't we? And that's mine. How clean is that bowl? That just had the egg in. Right, let's do that then. I'm just going to grate a slice of bread, and that will just form a little crumb on the top, using the bit of the grater you never use, the one that's like some weird torture device. Usually actually it's for nutmeg, but that rasping side, I need to put that on a cloth. That rasping side is going to create nice little bits and pieces. This is not in Marco's recipe, by the way, but I really like extra layers of crunch on pastries and pies and things. Foodie is pretentious, but I like food idiot. I will use it. Go with grace. It is yours. I gift it onto the world. I think it's really classically British, self-deprecating type humour. Oh, you know, you can't admit that you like something and you're into something, so oh, I'm one of those food idiots. You know. People also take it to mean that you go to lots of restaurants, which I don't. I just don't have the income for that. My location isn't great either for good food. London is on my doorstep, but it's still an expensive train journey away. Right. I'm going to take out some of those bigger chunks and then just scatter some of those little breadcrumbs on top. I'll just show you that for a second. Check the right cameras on. Excellent. Okay. So there we have it. Our shepherd's pie / cottage pie. It is both, so I can call it both. We are about a 45-minute drive from NYC on a good day. Yeah, we're about an hour's drive, which is fine, but London is just not built for driving. It just isn't. It gives me nightmares driving in London. I do it very, very rarely. And it's always very, very stressful. I've been to New York City a couple of times, love it there, had a honeymoon there. But I can't imagine driving there. The same sort of reasons, you know, it's just nightmarish. And obviously worse in London, it doesn't have a lovely grid system, so you can find your way, it's all twisting roads. Excellent, so there is, I just want to make sure you can see that okay. So there is our finished pie, with the mash on top, with all the gratey bits, and that's where I will leave. I'll give you one more shot overhead. Let's make sure you can see it okay. Yeah, so you are at the moment on this stream not going to see the finished result because I'm going to pop that in the oven and that's going to take at least 30 minutes and then we'll come back to it then. So I'm going to bid you adieu and farewell at that point. It's been really great hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much for your chats, for your messages, for your donations. It's really, really cool. Considering I just jumped up at the last minute, decided to do this because I wanted to hang out with some people. And what lovely people to hang out with. So again, really great to see you all. I'm going to sign off there, pop this in the oven. I will put the result on the community page of the YouTube channel, you know where I mean, the chatty bit, later on this evening. I hope you'll have a great evening / afternoon / day, and I will catch you next time. Thanks, guys.